long story, very long. Rambler, sorry, can't help it. You wanna come book shopping with me? Willow! Willow, you can't bite that. Don't bite that. I know you wanna come. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you book shopping with me because I have a huge bag of books. Here it is. All of these books are going to be donated. I don't love doing book on haul videos just because it's going to be me saying that either I read the book and don't see myself rereading it, or maybe I read it a while ago and just feel like it's time to give it a new life with another reader or anything like that. And yesterday I filmed my Etsy restock video and announcement, which I am so excited about, and I told you about the 4 new author portraits that are coming to my Etsy shop, and also I introduced the new item that I designed and will be selling on my Etsy shop, and I thought we would celebrate the new item by going book shopping because it is a tote bag. And I thought we would celebrate by filling it with a bunch of new books after I donate old books, so that it's an even exchange, I think. So this side is Dickens and Tolstoy, and if you know my author portraits, which are all right there, they are called my on-the-page author portraits because I draw them and overlay the pages that they have written onto them. And we also have, of course, Tolstoy and Dickens because I wanted to honor the Dickens versus Tolstoy debate. Of course, they're 2 of my favorite authors, and it is the book club that Emma and I are co-hosts of and is one of our favorite things ever. So we have an on-the-page tote bag, and then on the other side we have Charlotte Bronte and Jane Austen because I wanted to honor 2 of my favorite female authors, and I also wanted to pick 4 authors that I knew were very well read and that a lot of people loved. What better way to celebrate a new tote bag would be to donate the books that I have been meaning to donate for ages, which I just haven't yet, and to fill my new tote bag with a bunch of new books. So I thought it would be fun to take you along with me to get some new books. I'm donating them to my library. They have a wonderful program where you can donate your books if you don't want them anymore, and they will resell them for paperbacks are $1 and hardcovers are $2. It's just a fantastic thing to exist. I love that they do that, and it's the classics section, like I was saying, is my favorite part of their little bookshop. So anyway, let's go to my library, donate some books, and fill my on-the-page tote bag with some new books. So let's go. What? You know I'm going out? You know I'm going out? Okay, I'll be right back. You want to come book shopping with me? Willow! Willow, you can't bite that. Don't bite that. I know you want to come. You want to come with me? I'll be right back. started recording. I didn't mean to record yet. Hello everyone, it is now the next day. It is February 9th, and I didn't film after I came back from my library because I had to do quite a few things and I didn't have a chance. And I have some things to update you, so I thought that that would be nice for this video. I did have my Etsy restock this morning, which was so exciting, and you guys had a wonderful response to it and to the tote bag. So thank you so much for all of your kindness and your sweet messages and your comments and your support. I have over 100 orders already, which it just blows my mind. I have everything ready to start packing my orders. I already have an audiobook that I'm starting to listen to, and I have a lot of books to talk to you about, recent reads and different things like that, and a book haul. So I thought that this could be part book haul, part recent reads, and just a big thank you for being so supportive with my Etsy restock and for being the loveliest people ever. So without further ado, I thought I would show you guys the books that I got at the library. I only got 3, which it was $3 total because each book was $1, and it's really hit or miss whenever I go there, just because since it's a donation system, you don't really know what they're going to have. Sometimes I come out of there with like 10 books, other times I come out with nothing. This time I came out with 3, so I thought that that was a pretty good amount, and I have a wide range of books. They're all quite different from one another. The first one I have is a play, so let's take it out. Here it is. It is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf by Edward Albee, and I have been wanting to read this play for so long because I am a huge Virginia Woolf fan, and I've always heard of this play, but I have no idea what it actually is about. But whenever I think of it, has Virginia Woolf in the title, and I know so many people love this play, even though I don't know what it's about, I really want to read it. So it says, the stunning play that has become a classic in our time. So that is the first book. Then, let's see, we have, oh, I found this book. I was so shocked. It is Letters on Life, New Prose Translation from Rainer Maria Rilke, and this is edited and translated by Ulrich Baer. I think he did my other translation of, is it The Book of Hours? I'm not sure, but this is Letters on Life from Rilke. It says, gleaned from Rainer Maria Rilke's voluminous, never-before-translated correspondence, this volume offers the best writings and personal philosophy of one of 20th century's greatest poets. The result is a profound vision of how the human drive to create and understand can guide us in every facet of life. I have loved the very little I've read from Rilke, and I'm slowly collecting so many of his books, and I haven't been reading them, but I was meant to start reading The Book of Hours with my friends. They've all finished it, and I haven't even started. So Mary, Lucy, and Emma, I'm very sorry. I'm being a very bad buddy reader, but I'm hoping to start The Book of Hours soon, and I can't wait to read this because I loved his letters in Letters to a Young Poet, so very excited. Then the last book I got was Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. Again, like I said, very wide range of different books I got. This is illustrated by Quentin Blake. I love the Wes Anderson stop motion animation, the movie or film of Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I have never read the story before, and I would love to read the story. So those are the 3 books that I picked up at my library's used bookshop. Like I said, wide range, but I do have some other books to talk to you about. So I did place an Amazon order, and I put it in my tote bag for fun. So I have been, it's kind of semi-long story. Okay, so a book that I listened to on audiobook recently is Homo Irrealis by Andre Aciman, and Andre Aciman wrote Call Me By Your Name and Find Me and many other amazing books, and I actually met him. I went to a book signing, my roommate and I went to a book signing when we were living together in the city, and we went to Brooklyn. That's when Find Me was coming out, the sequel to Call Me By Your Name, and it was such a wonderful experience, and I loved hearing him speak and meeting him, and I got to talk to him for a little bit, which was just so cool. And I knew that he came out with this essay collection, but I hadn't read it yet. So I was looking for an audiobook, and I saw that Homo Irrealis was available to listen to. I listened to audiobooks through the Apple Libby, which is free through my library. And I loved hearing him speak. I love him as an author, as a fiction author, and I love his novels, but I never read any nonfiction by him. I listened to it, I fell head over heels in love with it, and it led me to this next purchase, which is what I'm talking about. Long story, very long. Rambler, sorry, can't help it. In this book, he was talking about a bunch of different things that I'm really passionate about, like art history and nostalgia and living in different places and traveling and our emotional connection to place, which I find really interesting. And he was talking a bit about films and cinema and living in New York and growing up in Egypt, moving to France and Italy, and now he lives in New York. And he was talking about so many things that I'm so passionate about. He was talking about other books, other writing. He was talking a lot about Russian literature, which I found so amazing. I wasn't expecting that. He also narrated the introduction, and then there was another narrator for the actual essays. And I loved it. I loved it so much that when I finished listening to the audiobook, I went back and re-listened to a lot of it, which I've never done before. Usually when I finish an audiobook, I finish it and that's it. And I desperately want to order myself a physical copy because I kept going back and re-listening to certain lines in the book and certain parts of the essays because I found them so profound and I really loved them. And I want to have them physically in front of me so I can highlight them and annotate them and everything. I fell in love with this book. Okay, on another note, which also connects back to this book by Andre Aciman, I follow this amazing Instagram called Books in Films, and I will link them down below. It's this girl who, she posts film stills with from different films that have books in them, and in the captions she always tells you what movie it is and what film it is. She always posts movie stills from movies directed by the film director and writer Eric Rohmer. And after seeing so many of her posts with different shots from Eric Rohmer films, I really wanted to watch some of his movies, but I never did for some reason. I have been slowly taking French lessons with my aunt because she is a retired French teacher. Hello, Aunt Jo, if you're watching this. And I love taking French lessons with her, and I had the Duolingo app, but I kind of stopped just because it wasn't a main priority, and unfortunately I put it on the back burner, but now I really want to pick it up again. Anyway, Eric Rohmer's films are all in French because he is a French filmmaker, and then I was listening to Homo Irrealis, and a major portion of the book is all about Andre Aciman discovering a love for Eric Rohmer films, and I was just baffled because this whole time I saw all these amazing film stills. I'm like, I need to watch Eric Rohmer films. I love foreign films. I love films with subtitles because it combines my love of reading with my love of film, and I think that it has such a beauty to it. I love old films. Black and white movies are some of my favorites. I really, really love old cinema. And anyway, so then hearing Andre Aciman rave about Eric Rohmer films, I was just like, okay, this is it. This is my chance. I need to watch one of these movies. And he talks about quite a few of them, but a few that stuck out to me was Chloe in the Afternoon, or also Love in the Afternoon, it goes by both names, and My Night at Maud's. My Night at Maud's was the one that I really wanted to watch, because that's the one, I think that's the first Eric Rohmer film that he saw, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I remember from listening to the audiobook. But he talked about falling in love with Eric Rohmer's films and how they played such a huge part in his life. So I looked up to see if I could stream them anywhere, and they were available to stream on HBO, My Night at Maud's and Chloe in the Afternoon. And I watched Chloe in the Afternoon first, and then I watched My Night at Maud's, and I fell in love. I fell head over heels in love with Eric Rohmer's, those two films from him. And then after that, this was like a few days ago, last week. I wanted to watch more of his movies, but I couldn't find them anywhere. I couldn't find them available to either rent or anything. So I was like, you know what? Criterion has a collection of his 6 Moral Tales, which I will explain a little bit, but anyway, so the last thing that I have in my tote bag, it arrived today and I'm so excited. That is the Criterion collection of Eric Romer's 6 Moral Tales. And so originally Eric Romer wrote these 6 Moral Tales, which they end up being 6 different films, all with very moralistic themes, which is why they're called the 6 Moral Tales. He originally wrote them as a book. And in this box set from Criterion, they give you the book and also all 6 movies, as well as some additional information on the filming of them and the creation of these stories. And this is just such a beautiful book. I am in love. So this picture on the cover is from Chloe in the Afternoon, which is such an incredible film, and I'm so excited to read this. On the back it says, years before Eric Romer turned to filmmaking, he wrote his famed 6 Moral Tales in book form. Stripped down and incisive, these stories anticipate the literary quality of the cinematic works they would ultimately become. Both a primer for Romer's brilliant career and a series of perspective character studies in their own right, Romer's collection, 6 Moral Tales, speaks eloquently of a great cinematic legacy. And I have become a Eric Romer fangirl just from watching 2 of these films, and I needed the rest of them, so that's why. Anyway, so this is the original form of what Eric Romer created, and then it became movies, and he turned to cinema. And what I was doing some research, because when I fall in love with something, I really fall in love with something and I do a ton of research. And I was looking on YouTube and I found this video where they were talking about how Eric Romer, when he was trying to get these stories made into movies, made into films, the film industry thought that they were too literary, and they thought that they wouldn't work as films. And I found that so interesting, because they are very literary, and what is discussed in his films is really interesting and gripping, and it's all about relationships and the different ways that we treat different relationships. I don't want to give too much away, and if you have any movie recommendations for me, I know I talk about books all the time, which these movies are based on stories written in book form first, but please let me know if you have any movie recommendations. If you love Eric Romer films as well, please talk to me about Eric Romer films, because now all I want to do is watch his movies. I love the aesthetic of his films as well. They are just so beautiful, like the fashion, the hairstyles, just everything about them is so fantastic, and they have such a French quality that I love very, very much. So this is what it looks like, and a lot of his films have fantastic scenes with books in them, and I really I don't want to copy what the amazing creator of books and films does with her Instagram, because that was her, but I do want to take inspiration and maybe make a story highlight or something on my Instagram where I can share with you maybe some of my favorite either book to movie adaptations or movies that also have books in them, because I love being able to combine different things that I'm passionate about. Like, I love combining art and books, and I would love to combine films and books, or ballets and books, and different art forms and different forms of storytelling together. So yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing something like that, so we'll see. But I really don't want to copy books and films. So highly recommend you follow her Instagram, because she recommends amazing movies. And whenever I don't know what to watch, I always go to her Instagram. The back is also just absolutely stunning. It looks like this. It also comes with this book, and this is from My Night at Maud's. That is Maud herself, who I find such an incredible character. And this is on 6 Moral Tales, is what this little book is. And it is all about the filming process and the stories and the creation behind all of his films. One of my favorite stills that I have seen all over Bookstagram is this one, and it says, "Come to my house, I have great books," I think, something like that. And it is from, I believe, Claire's Knee, which is in this collection. And it sounds, yeah, it's from Claire's Knee, and it sounds like a really, really interesting story. Andre Aciman was explaining a lot of the movies, some My Night at Maud's and Chloe in the Afternoon, but also the ones that are in here that I haven't watched yet, which I'm so excited to watch. So anyway, you open it and it looks like this. Those are some of the movie stills. That is from Claire's Knee, the one I was just talking about. The two that I have seen are My Night at Maud's, which is this one, and then Love in the Afternoon. So they call it Love in the Afternoon in here, but it's also known as Chloe in the Afternoon. And then here we have all of them together. I am just so pumped. I'm so excited. So I was thrilled when this showed up at my door. I really am re-inspired to keep learning French. I know very little, but I'm decent. I'm decent, but I'm not fluent at all. It was nice though, because when I was watching them, I did understand what they were saying. Not all the time, but I did pick up on and remembered a lot of what I learned in the past. So anyway, I am super excited to have fallen in love with another Andre Aciman book. I can't wait to get myself a physical copy. And then I want to thank Andre Aciman for talking so highly about Eric Rohmer, because now I am an Eric Rohmer fangirl, and I'm happy to be one, and I really wish that I could live in Eric Rohmer's world. That's something that Andre Aciman talks about, that he creates a Paris that exists but also doesn't exist. He talks about it so eloquently and in a way that I will never be able to, so highly recommend listening or reading Homo Irrealis, and maybe watching some Eric Rohmer films. If you have HBO, they are available for you. Highly recommend. And I can't wait to get back into learning French. Then the other books that I really quickly want to talk about. Another new book I have is a Russian classic, and that is Lady Macbeth of Mtsensk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not. This is from Nikolai Leskov. This is a short story collection, or a collection of stories by Nikolai Leskov, and I have been recommended this quite a lot, and I'm hoping to read Lady Macbeth of Mtsensk. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I really don't know. Very, very soon. So this is another Russian classic that will hopefully be read soon as well. I also will probably start reading The Seagull by Anton Chekhov soon as well, because again, I want to read some Chekhov plays. I haven't read a Chekhov play before. I have read a few of his short stories but never a play, and The Seagull is highly recommended, and I know that there's a fantastic movie adaptation with Saoirse Ronan of The Seagull as well. I'm excited to get back into some Russian reading, and I know so many of you love hearing me talk about Russian books, and I love talking about Russian books, so that's awesome. Then a book that I finished recently that I have yet to update you on is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I really, really loved this. I picked this up in 2018 originally. I started reading it, got about a quarter of the way through, and wasn't really in the mood for it. I was enjoying it, but I just didn't have a desire to pick it up, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it down and pick it up eventually. Almost 4 years later, I picked it back up again, and I finally finished it. I listened to the audiobook because me being a very busy freelance illustrator, listening to audiobooks is one of the best things. This is a fantastic book about books. It starts and begins at a book graveyard, and it's about our main character, Danielle, who he finds this book, and it's called The Shadow of the Wind by Julian Carax, and he wants to read more from Julian Carax because he loves The Shadow of the Wind, and he discovers that his books are really hard to find, and that the ones that do exist are being burned by this shadow character that eventually comes into Danielle's life. And it's about Danielle, it's about this this author and his life and their connection with one another, and it's just a fantastic book. I know so many people love it as well, and I can definitely see why. And then I did finish the 2 Tolstoy books for Dickens vs. Tolstoy. That is these 2 collections. These are collections of his short stories, but the 2 I read are The Raid, which can be found in this one, and the Sevastopol stories, which can be found in this edition. And if you want to hear Emma and I talk about them in great detail, then you can watch our Dickens vs. Tolstoy debate, which was just recently on my channel, and we go into a lot of detail. And then the book that I am currently reading and adoring is The Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde in the beautiful Pan Macmillan Collector's Library edition. I love these books so much, and they're just absolutely stunning. These also have beautiful illustrations as well, which I have been fawning over. The Happy Prince and Other Stories is the fairy tales of Oscar Wilde. These were written, I think, with children in mind, but I know that they are meant for adults as well. I have only read the first 3 stories, The Happy Prince, The Nightingale and the Rose, and The Selfish Giant, and I have adored all 3 of them. They are so quintessential Oscar Wilde. They capture the essence of fairy tales so well, with the very usually tragic endings. These are so heartbreaking, and they have such clear morals and beautiful storylines, and I just have been adoring this collection. And Oscar Wilde can write about anything and make it so beautiful and enchanting. And oh, and I read The Devoted Friend. Yes, and I read The Devoted Friend as well. I read the first 4 stories. Like, look at how beautiful those illustrations are. Just absolutely stunning. So yes, adoring this. Can't wait to keep reading it, and I'm very excited. And then I'm going to start, for the Dickens vs. Tolstoy debate, I am going to be starting Barnaby Rudge soon, which I'm very excited about as well. And I am going to be picking up The Seagull by Anton Chekhov soon, so I will update you guys on what I think about all of these books. So here is my little stack of recent reads and recent purchases. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little mini vlog, book haul, and recent reads video. I am now going to be wrapping a ton of Etsy orders because they are just piling in as I sit here. And I need to start wrapping them so that you guys can get them. I just want to send the biggest thank you again for being so wonderful and so supportive. Again, let me know if you are an Eric Romer fan. Let me know if you have read any of these books. I would love to hear what you have to say about anything that I have spoken about, if it resonates with you at all. So yes, I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Thank you again for being so wonderful. I will see you soon in another video. Happy reading!